Hey YouTube, this is Recipe Spark Fan 62. We're almost at the end of July. So about a year ago, a little over a year ago, was the merger between Six Flags and Cedar Fair. And so they merged in early July of 2024. And there has been a lot that has gone on in about that year, which I'm going to talk about now. So the first major thing that happened was a few months later. This was during Fright Fest and Halloween Haunt time. So it was announced that so going into that time, there was rumors of certain attractions closing. So you're talking about your certain rides. And so a lot of people were scared. So they started to descend on parks like Six Flags Great Adventure and others to try and get their last rides in case this was the case. So it was announced right after Fright Fest that rides like King Ka, Green Lantern, and others would close. So I would say in like 2 days, you had more than, I think it was around a dozen rides throughout the chain that have closed. Great Adventure was the one that was hit the hardest at 8. A couple of the rides that they closed were standing but not operating. But then others were in operation going into that. So you had rides like Anaconda, La Vibora at Six Flags Over Texas, and there was others. And then so there was talks of more to come. As of now, that has not happened, but that can still change. And one of the things a lot of people are fearing is that is going to happen here pretty soon, going into the fall/winter season of 2025. So going into this season is where a lot of it has started. So in March, I believe it was announced that King's Dominion, they are no longer going to be doing Winterfest, which was their seasonal Christmas event. So it was similar to parks like Kings Island and all these other parks that do it. While it was still advertised to sell passes. And it's one of those things where it caught a lot of people off guard. It was a popular event from what I understand. Did it make money? I'm not entirely sure. Now, the other big thing too recently has been the decline in attendance. They're saying part of it is because of weather and other things like that. If that's true, I'm not entirely sure. Now, let's go to recent, shall we? So, the biggest thing in the last couple of weeks has been Canada's Wonderland has introduced passes for 2026, which is about a month before they normally do. And the biggest thing coming out of that was for, I think it was $99 US. You can get the drink plan, the food plan, I believe, and it includes all Six Flags and Cedar Fair parks. So that is the interesting thing. And it's one of those things that makes you wonder. And then the other thing was just announced yesterday on Monday, July 21st or so. Michigan's Adventure is not going to be doing their Tricks and Treats, which is their annual Halloween event. So September 1st is their last day for the season. Speaking of last days, it was announced before the season started that Six Flags America will be closing after this year for good. November 2nd is their last day. And from what it sounded like, their season so far has been a little bit rough. And 2027 will be Canada's Wonderland, not Canada's Wonderland, California's Great America's last day, last year being open before it gets sold off. So right now, as far as other parks being sold, they've said no other parks are being sold at this time. But it honestly would not surprise me in the next couple of years they may start to do that. To save money. Now, for parks like Frontier City, Darien Lake, and LaRonde, those are going to be the three interesting ones because they don't fully own those parks. They just run the day-to-day operations. Now, they have gotten out of Frontier City and Darien Lake before. Could that happen again? Possibly. So, what have we learned in this first year of the merger? It's been rough. And of course, you have a lot of other things like like at Kings Island, for example, drink station during the week has been closed. Food stands have been closed. Merchandise stands have been closed. Certain things like that. Now, the other thing that is being talked about is the potential of paying extra for the haunted houses. For Fright Fest and Halloween Haunt. So, paying extra for the houses has always been a thing for Fright Fest, but not at Halloween Haunt, as they've always been included in park admission, or if you had a season pass. But now it's looking like you're going to have to pay extra for the houses in Cedar Fair parks. The problem is, how are you going to sell that to people that are used to going through the houses with their one-day ticket or their season pass? And how are you going to even tell people, yeah, shell out this money for this pass for it? So that has been some of the major things that have gone around with Six Flags in its first year of the merger. We have to see what happens going into the rest of this season and going into 2026.